channel. I used to actually, I don't know, I might be the only person in the world ever who actually uses the Twitch desktop app.
The desktop?
Yeah, there's a Twitch desktop app, and I think I'm the only person in the absolute world who's ever used it. And it might just be me. I felt like it took up less than Google Chrome when I had it. And I don't know. I like it. I see my thing just loaded on your thing. What do you think of the scene? How's that look for you?
I like it. I do not like how I'm facing the opposite side of the screen, though. We're both literally looking on the opposite side. So if you could switch that real quick, if it's
let me. Can I switch that? Let me see. Hold on. Crop, image, scaling ratio. Hold on. I gotta figure out how to do this. Is there like a free transform flip? These are like the things that you start with.
I can't flip in OBS though. I mean in Discord. That's the only thing.
Let me see here. I'm trying to figure out a way to do it where it flips the browser, where it's like a reverse. Look, here's where we're running into the initial, and this is the thing. I didn't even think about that the whole time I'm sitting here. Is there a filter that would allow me to do that? Color correction, crop pad. I don't think so. That would just crop it.
In OBS itself?
Yes.
Yeah, it's right click transform. Where the fuck is it? Yeah, right click on the actual thing, and it is
transform. Oh, there it is. Flip horizontal. Yeah, I got it. Okay, we're good. Now I just gotta move you over again. Oh, you're coming into my. You're in my frame, bro.
Oh shit! We just got
hold on. There it is. Hold on. That should. Nope. Okay. Where are you? Let's see.
I'm here.
This should still come. I don't know how you're going. Oh, it's because I have a green screen. Because I'm big dumb. Okay, that'll fix it. And my image has low opacity. Great. Okay.
Oh god, here we go.
We're going 8 layers disposed right now. This is where technical difficulties number 1. We're gonna have to turn this up a little bit so you don't even notice that. That's fine. I don't care if my background's a little bit brighter or as bright as it literally could possibly be. Goodness gracious. All right, opacity's at full, so that's fine by me. And we are centered. There we go. Good. I think we got it. All right. Technical difficulty number 1 resolved. I'm sat comfortable in my chair. We're looking good. We're feeling good. And the podcast is finally on and going. Now, I do want to make it clear to everyone as well who may have come in here early or anyone who will be popping in, maybe people who would be watching this on YouTube when it does get posted there. I'm not going to be doing immediate or direct reactions to chat. The reason for that specifically is I just want to keep this interpersonal, keep the conversation going. If I break up for every sub or every push-up or every follow, things like that, we'll never get things done. So we're going to go ahead and bypass that for now and get to that later. Second thing that I wanted to make clear is that this is going to go in a couple of segments. You'll kind of see how the segments go, and we'll get to that, as we go along. And then the final thing that I just want to preface this with is that this is still kind of a work in progress, but for the most part polished. I'd say 80%, but that was good enough to go ahead and flagship it and send it. So with that being said, those of you who are also curious about the giveaway, that's going to be drawn after. But Oversoul, my man, literally could not have thought of a better guest to join me for my first podcast. Thank you so much, and there's those. Appreciate it, boss. Thank you.
There we go.
So let's go ahead and jump right into this, man. How are you doing today? I know how you're doing. We've talked all day, but for anyone else who doesn't, how are you doing?
I am good. Happy to be on the podcast. Fridays are always pretty easy for me, pretty relaxed. I only got to do like one meeting during the morning, and I just chill for the rest of the day.
Well, we're going to be getting to some more of that for sure, too, because I want to dig into you a little bit in streaming in that lifestyle. So I got quite a few questions. For anyone watching, we set up a – thank you as well for the Ray and the host. There it is.
Everybody gets in there.
The double. Listen, you don't got a choice. You're coming over.
Yeah.
So it's going to be basically 3 to 4 segments potentially. I encourage everybody in chat to ask questions in chat. We're going to have somebody grabbing those questions, putting them off to the side, and we'll get to those later. The segments are going to be 5 questions that I'm going to ask every content creator who comes on the show. Those are going to be questions to get a good idea of who they are. All right, we got to cut Streamlabs. I think we got to cut. Maybe not. All right, guys, thank you for the host, but I'm going to talk past those. So we're going to go ahead and do the first segment, 5 questions that I'm going to ask every content creator. Those ones will dive a little bit into their life and a couple of things that you maybe want to know about them as kind of an introductory point. The second segment is going to be questions specifically tailored to them, but maybe a little bit more broad. And then once we get to about segment 3, it's kind of a free-for-all grab bag about whatever's going on in streaming in general. So very excited to see how that all goes. And I also talked to Oversoul about this earlier. You guys do know I drink sometimes. I don't like to drink too much on stream, but I brought a shot to commemorate the first stream, Oversoul. This is to you. Cheers as well for being my first guest and the first ever FlexCast. Cheers. We're going to be doing once weekly, and I would like to have you back maybe for other ones in the future and potentially branch off. You know, I'm thinking about making this kind of like a side part of the podcast where there's the streamer segment cast, maybe the casual segment podcast, and things like that as well. I think that'd be the great way, because if I ever want to branch off and just have a day where we just rant and rave, maybe get smacked and do whatever, I want that to be not frowned upon. But here's to that.
Cheers.
Very rough shot down.
Can you share your screen for OBS? Because I feel weird when I can't see you without a delay.
Can I share my screen for OBS? I think I can. That's actually really
Discord,
good.
Yeah. So
yeah.
You can either choose like the actual source itself or whatever window.
Let's see if it stops. Okay, wait, no. Because OBS, sorry. When I did that, it took not your webcam. It put mine in the OBS source as the window. Maybe I can do that. Let me see here. Maybe I can do that to you and then change the window that's out. Because I don't know if that takes your window or if that does whatever. One last technical difficulty we're getting over. We'll need this for the future. Yeah, let me see if I click this. But if I click you, can you still see mine?
I can still see you right now, yes. I
Okay.
think we're good.
Oh, I got to keep that open. You are making a delicious face on the screen, but I do have to keep that open.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, no, we're good. We're good. Okay. All right, so I think we're finally into the point where we can kick into this. So, again, I'd like to thank you for being my first guest, Oversoul, and I'd like to jump into the first 5 questions, introductory for everybody, to make sure that we can know who you are, jumping into the stream, and kind of get an idea of kind of what got you to where we're at right now before we start diving into you personally a bit more. These questions end up being a bit generic, but my goal is that hopefully we can dig into some stuff that maybe everyone would like to know, or maybe they had questions about themselves. And the first one's very, very basic, but I think it's a great one to ask anybody to start this off. But for you specifically, what got you into gaming in the first place ever? Like, what was the game that you first got hooked on, or maybe played competitively, or made you realize that you liked gaming more than the average person?
Let's see. Okay, sad to say. I'd say I did a lot of casual gaming when I was a kid. I was not a big video game kid. I mean, I got my first console. It was a PS1 when I was around 6 years old. I got a whole bunch of games with it. I wasn't totally like infatuated with it, but it was just a fun thing to play. Like, you can play. I have an older brother that we would always play together, but we didn't have the best relationship as we were growing up, as most brothers or siblings do in a household.
Of course, yeah.
But of course, our relationship matured a lot when he left to go to college, and now we're both adults. Now we have a great relationship. But I would have to say the game that really put me out more was Fortnite. That's how Flex and I met, actually via my brother, who we previously.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like casually gaming, nothing competitive at all. But like Fortnite was there. Just building, shooting, running in the storm. I got into that. I got good at it. So I was like, I can't let these skills go to waste. So I started playing a little bit more competitively. Luckily, Fortnite had their little tournaments that they had. Won a little bit of cash over there.
Very rare in the beginning too.
Yeah. So that's the game that brought me in, and that's about the same time I started streaming. I got my like first actual decent PC when I was 23, so two years ago.
Oh wow, really? I would have imagined way before that.
No, yeah. So like when people complain that like all these 14, 16-year-olds are talking about I want to have this PC, I'm like, I didn't get like an actual PC until I was 23, man. I had a laptop, but you know how gaming laptops are. They might be good for the first year max, and then after that they start to die down. So I couldn't really play like the AAA ones. I got a pretty decent one. It was an Asus one. I still have it, but that thing will not survive being unplugged for more than 10
It's
minutes.
a shelf at this point, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big old paperweight. I don't even know why I still have it, just for the memories, I guess. But yeah, like I got my first PC 2 years ago, pre-built. But then I eventually learned how to build my own computer, a little bit forcefully because my computer had a leak because they had one of those
Ooh.
water cooling things. So I had to learn how to take everything apart and then put it back together, which was originally the plan I had when originally getting a pre-built because I was scared to actually build it myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, when I started streaming and playing Fortnite was the same time I really got into gaming. That's like the most amount of hours I put in before. I tried to stay away from it as much. I was a little bit of a gym junkie. I'm like, why would I be playing video games when I could be working out? But that's also when I was in the army, where that's my job is to stay fit.
Something we're definitely going to dive into later on once I have a couple questions about that as well too, for sure. But no, I think that's kind of cool that you dive into that. And again, another thing I'm tabling to later, but I'm really excited to get to, is actually Streamer Royale, where we met. And I think that's kind of a story of its own that needs some more elaboration. And once we get past these questions, I think that's going to be one of the first ones that I dive into for sure, because what seemed like a really good idea was just another pyramid scheme that hooked in a lot of people at that point in time. But one subcategory in that first question as well is for you specifically, what would draw you towards a game that you think, as both you and as the content creator, is there something that you think maybe this game's good for analytics, so I'll do it there, or maybe you think that I don't care about the analytics, this game's fun and I'll get the success from there, or is it not even about the success, just the fun?
I would say it's a little bit of mostly about the fun because I enjoy my personal happiness a lot more than growth. Because you're eventually gonna burn yourself out from that. I'm like a type of person where I try to put that happiness first for the most part. But yeah, I mean it's like with Fortnite, I was doing pretty decent on Fortnite. Better than what I'm doing now, like when it comes to average viewers. But the way I got like most of those viewers was with playing with viewers, and that was good to a point, but I did not enjoy it. There's several aspects to why I didn't enjoy it, but I didn't enjoy it, so I stopped doing it, and I just wanted to play with my brother and my close friends, and my stats dropped, but
Yeah.
I didn't care. I was having fun.
I also remember that point in time. We had conversations back then because there was this funny shift in your content when you went from being like all about viewers to the point where there was almost this joke hovering around where it was just like, fuck you. like people would come and ask to play and you were just like hard brick wall of no, like we're not doing this.
Yeah, I was getting sued at a point because most of the people that would be coming by were not the best players, to put it kindly.
no, I
And
hear that.
I like winning. I like winning too. I want to get as many wins, especially like I did stream a lot back then, but I didn't have that much time to stream, and you know how Fortnite could be with the farming and trying to stay passive to win the game. Like a game could last you like 30 minutes for a decent one,
Yeah.
and the rest are just hot dropping and dying off spawn. So
Not fun,
I was taking
yeah.
my time into consideration as well, because I was trying to get the highest win percentage.
Your brother had some crazy amount of wins in, what was it, solos, right? Yeah, he went like
Yeah,
crazy. He almost had a record or
yeah.
something.
Not, I wouldn't say a record, but his solo wins were at least half his total, and his total is that it's at least 1,200.
Yeah,
So
wow.
he's got like 500-600 somewhere around there. Because I know, because we have the same amount of wins in the same range.
That's funny. No, all right. Well, I'm glad for that introduction, but that actually leads right into the next part here. For focus interview question number 2, what exactly brought you into streaming? Now, this is a broad question because I think a lot of people have different reasons, and I think the best rule here is honesty. You know, some people it's money, some people it was the fame, some people it was just something that they happen to do casually, and what was that main motivating factor for you at that time?
Honestly, dude, seeing Ninja and pulling out his stats, so like what he said, $500,000 a month. It was like
Yeah.
crazy. I
Yeah.
figured about it when I was in my last deployment while I was in the army. And that's when Ninja started like blowing up and everything. And I was like, when I get home, I'm gonna get me a PC. And I was playing Fortnite during deployment. That's when I really got into it, and it was a weird way to get into it because we were in Africa. We didn't have the best internet, so I was rocking about 200 ping while playing Fortnite, but I still enjoyed it. But yeah, for the most part, it was Ninja and his numbers, and I liked it, and I'm just like, I was always a entertainer at heart, so I thought it fit me really well.
Gotcha. Now, with that, that is something that I thought about for me in this regard that I think would be a really interesting question because I remember my answer, and at some point we'll get into that obviously in the future. But what did the first stream for you look like? Like, what was that first stream, maybe the first week like of streams? Kind of like what were some stuff that you thought was kind of funny about that time, and what still is that funnest part for you in that?
Like looking back at it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I still remember my clip. Yeah, it's like it was no webcam. I was using Streamlabs, OBS, and I used like the default template and everything. So it was just it was like this obnoxious puke green electrified webcam frame and the all the trackers for followers and everything. It was just kind of like gross looking. It was not clean at all, and of course, I didn't have the best mic quality. I was actually using this one mic that I got from Best Buy, and it was defective. There's something wrong with the grounding wire. So I was just like listening back, and it was just picking up everything.
Went through every setting in OBS, couldn't figure it out, and it was the wire.
Yeah, and I didn't know any of the settings or anything. So like I always tell people try to put a little bit more effort into your initial streams, and you guys have the resources because y'all have me and the internet, YouTube.
Everything's free now too. I mean, you can do so much for free now as a streamer and really get away with like basically robbery at that point. I mean, I've seen some people's like first ever stream is with like, I mean, granted there's pre-buy graphics and things like that, but I mean they jump right off the bat and look like they've been streaming for years, and I think that's a huge thing for people nowadays compared to my first streams, which are we'll talk about those at some point.
Some pretty rough ones.
But that's actually the thing about the streaming that I think a lot of people don't realize as well, is how much, especially at different age ranges, and one thing I'm hoping to do is to clarify that on the stream, is in the different age ranges, there's different things about streaming that makes it harder. And I think one thing that's an important question for number 3 specifically is, how does streaming and relationships work for you? Because I'm not saying just relationships as far as like girlfriend or family or friendships, but all of that kind of combined. Because for some people, it's really easy. They just have their parents that stream 16 hours a day like Ninja did before he popped off. And some people like us, full-time jobs, they're working. They have, serious relationships at home, bills to pay, and it's not the same. So what things do you think were unexpected struggles? And where do you think it looked like kind of before and after? Like when it was first starting off, was it more difficult? And now kind of have you evened it out?
So for you guys don't know, I am married for what was it? It's just been past 2 years.
Congratulations on that. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I remember, I think, getting Snapchats when you were on your honeymoon of I think it was the mountainside you were on with that cat. That was beautiful, man. That was awesome.
Tennessee. It was awesome. So for initial part, when I did start streaming, I was engaged at that point. It wasn't too bad with our relationship. I mean, me and my wife are very low maintenance for the most part, so we rarely fight or have any of those marital strifes most people have, even before marriage. She didn't like that I was gaming too much, and I was streaming and playing video games in our bedroom.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was like dealing with that heat with the PC and just me being there trying to concentrate while she's doing whatever, playing video games. So my streaming schedule was a little bit restricted. I couldn't stream later at night because obviously we're sleeping in the same room. But obviously we've moved on to bigger and better things now, and I've learned to manage my time a lot better. Because before I just wanted to stream, play games. I just wanted to make it big by just streaming, which is a mistake, and we'll get more into that later.
Yeah, I mean that's something that's kind of funny because I mean I think everyone who's been in a relationship has had that first awkward point where, you know, the significant other has the frying pan in the background because you've been gaming and screaming at kids in a video game for 13 hours straight and they just can't wrap their head around it until, you know, they kind of start to see the end goal, and I think that's a huge thing for sure. So the before and after you've gotten solved. What about like the friendships and things like that? Like, is it something that you would tell your coworkers about that you stream, or is it still kind of this hidden background thing where it's like I do it in private and this is my privacy and I don't really feel comfortable with it?
I mean, I'd be comfortable with it. I try to keep it as hidden as possible, just for the fact that maybe say I'm playing hooky one day and I want to stream. I used to do that back then. I don't do it anymore now, so I probably feel more comfortable with it. Um, I don't know. This is just my zone. Just my zone. I feel like more in the future I'd invite people to come by, but the people I work with, everywhere I go in the cybersecurity field, I am always the youngest person. I am the youngest person in my office by about 7 years from the closest person.
Probably the freshest knowledge, though, I can imagine.
Yeah. But that goes both ways because some of these other guys, they they were there when cybersecurity started, and if you guys didn't know, it's a relatively new field within the last decade or so. I mean, it was still under development, but the priority for cybersecurity has been increasing throughout the last decade, if not the past couple of years. So yeah, I try to keep that for private for the most part. Whenever I do go on my Zoom calls, because you know, COVID and everything, they see my setup. I usually use this camera. They're like, Marty, they're like, you got a podcast going or something? I'm like, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's hard to describe.
I know. I do tell them I stream on Twitch and play video games, but I never.
I crank 90s on 14-year-olds and tell them they're losers.
Yeah, I never give them like that actual name or anything. But they also don't ask, so that helps out a lot.
Now, I don't want to talk about myself in these podcasts, but there's actually a funny story kind of revolving around that really quick I want to throw in. I talk about my streaming quite freely. I think I'm one of the only proponents for that. I love talking about the streaming freely, and the fact that it's something that should be accepted and acknowledged. I think Ninja pioneered that. But one of my bosses, I told I was going to be doing a 24-hour stream because I had off the 2 days or whatever, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's kind of cool or whatever." And he's a bit younger as well. I think he's he just hit 30, right? So he's still kind of fresh to everything, and the next week I come into work, his boss's boss was in work and was like, "Hey, I seen you during that 24-hour stream of yours," and I was like, "What do you mean you see it?" Because I didn't give my name. I didn't give my name or anything. Apparently, my boss, really cool guy, I love him to death. His name's Gary. He was on break and he just searched 24-hour stream, and I was the 4th on the list on Twitch.
Oh my goodness!
And he found it and he sent it to some of the other managers, like, "Oh, look at our new hire, or whatever." And oh my, it was such a blush face moment. I was like, "There's no way," because I said some raunchy shit that day. Oh, no. It's a 24-hour stream, 16 hours. You're awake, man. You're loopy. Yeah, you get like that. But that's funny because we talked about work a little bit there. You mentioned cybersecurity, so I think I want to ask this question in a 2-part question, okay? Which would be, this is number 4 here. What would a day in the life look like for you, both in the normal life side of things for you, and also the normal side of things with content creation as this blanket overshield on top of all of it? Because I know that when you're a content creator and one that's actively seeking success, it's not just a normal day. You don't just wake up, eat breakfast, go to work, pet your dog, watch a show, and go to sleep. There's content that needs to be put out. There's everything else. So what would you say, like, morning to start, what could we expect from Oversoul if we were seeing through your eyes?
All right. Okay. So
he's blushing. He didn't expect that one.
Yeah, no. This goes back to about like keeping my stream to my personal life, especially with content creation, because you guys know editing takes a long time. So, I wake up. I don't eat breakfast because I always intermittently fast.
Noon?
I eat from 12. Yeah, I only eat from noon to 8 p.m. It's been working wonders. That way I can eat sweets as much as I want, and not have to worry about the calories and being in a calorie deficit, because that's how you guys lose weight, if you didn't know that. So do that.
Calories.
I'll work out, do my The hops. Yeah,
The
I'll do
calories.
that workout since since COVID. It's been a lot of calisthenics. I go in this room and I have all this like free space so I can do my calisthenics and everything, and then I'll go on a run with the doggos. They usually consist of 2 miles, and I'll come back, shower, and then get ready for work. And then I check my phone to see if I have any meetings for the day. Um, and then I check my emails if I have anything pertinent. If there's nothing too crazy going on, or if I'm not too backed up on work, I will literally go from 9 to 12 and just edit as much as I can within that time. Because I can work a full 8-hour day, but that would mean it's like in between. It's either I do all the work now and end work early, or start off the day doing something I like and then ending the day where I would usually end it. So yeah, usually around 11:30, 12 p.m. I'll be done editing. Then I'll eat lunch. Then after that, I stop editing and I just get back to work, do whatever I have to do. And when 5 o'clock rolls around, usually that's when the wife gets home. So if dinner's not prepared, I'm usually the one to cook it since I'm staying home.
Are you a good cook?
I'm pretty decent. I'm not too creative with it. I do a lot of
It's like chicken rice.
chicken rice broccoli.
That's it,
No,
man.
I can't do that. My wife has she can't really eat one thing more than
Oh, she gets sick of it
2
quick.
days.
Yeah.
She gets sick of it quick for the most part. So I gotta constantly like.
Sounds like Liv, man. She'll love something, eat it 4 days in a row, and then never touch it again for the rest of her life. It's just,
Oh, no.
it's exile.
Yeah, so I'll like switch between pork, it's like either like a Taco Tuesday, like pork, chicken, beef, pasta. So I just keep those in rotation. So I'll do that, cook breakfast, cook dinner, eat, wait for the wife to go home, eat dinner with her, chill for an hour or so. And sometimes we actually go for our run with the doggos after dinner, after we wait an hour. So we'll do that, then get back home, shower, and then at that point, after I'm done showering, I usually get ready to start streaming. But at that point, it gets around 8 p.m., 9 p.m. And then I start streaming from that point. And that's usually how the day ends. I end my stream, go to bed, and yeah, that's about it.
I find that so funny because my timeline is so shifted in the other direction. I usually have a later start and a much later finish. So it's kind of funny to hear that you have such like an early start and like a responsible start, whereas I've like, if I don't have work, like an average wake up's like 2 p.m. and then it's like, and then the average sleeps like 5 a.m. and it's like such a different timeline for me. That's just, everyone has their comfort zone, and that's why I think that's such a great way to understand where the mindset's at, because I think that actually leads into some stuff I wanted to ask you personally after the first 5, but I think that your background leads a bit to routine and strategy, and obviously early, I think it's the military background as well, but I guess we'll just keep it rolling so we can get to those questions. I know we have a lot of juice for after these, so this is the number 5, the final one, and I think this one's a really big one for a lot of people because content creators, we all try to be as original as possible, but I think that everyone has something or someone that they draw inspiration from on a daily basis, whether it's somebody IRL who you look up to, who you've taken morals and ethics from, or maybe somebody who's in the gaming and streaming industry who you just think has pioneered a path that you'd like to try to follow in your own way. Is there someone who you personally have drawn inspiration from or maybe liked enough that you've kind of changed to fit into that category, or maybe someone who you just still look at for content? And one last thing, because I have so many of these people, but is there someone who you think is more entertaining than you personally and who you aspire to get to that level of? I'll answer that question really quick before you, because I've been on an addiction of this person for a very long time. There's a YouTube creator called Max Mofo, and I don't know what it is, but everything he touches is gold. Every single piece of content. He'll do a Pokemon card pack opening, and I don't even care about the cards, and you will laugh from start to finish, and he's hilarious. He does Let's Plays, he does Cold Ones, which is a phenomenal podcast, and every bit of content he creates is always such a banger, and I think that for me, he does so much for entertainment that I aspire to hit that level of self-sustaining entertainment. But what would you say kind of gets you going in that realm?
For any one specific person, I don't really have anyone that I really to look towards to. It's almost like a grab between multiple people, and it's hard to tell what I'm grabbing from those multiple people because it could be something as insignificant as a I don't know, a social media metric design, and I'll like take that. Um, but I can't really pinpoint anyone right now. I'm trying to look at my like YouTube subscriber list. Who do I
Who entertains me? Yeah, I mean, because I think even if you don't draw inspiration, someone who just entertains you is inspiration because you aspire to be entertaining in that same realm, in that same capacity, and that merits its own kind of, appreciation.
Yeah, mostly the YouTube content creators. There's one guy named Russian Badger, and I love the way he adds the text and the way the text moves, pops out, fades in, and then he on top of that he also has like these like he'll play Rainbow Six Siege a lot, and he'll have like the actual character models in top of whatever scene he's on, and they'll be like mouthing the words, or he'll have the text by the words, and literally he puts frame by frame he does by himself of that 3D model moving with the text coming out of their mouth. So I'm like,
Wow.
that amount of work, like literally frame by frame, they had to do by themselves. That's one thing I really admire. And that's something I haven't been able to get myself to do because that is a lot of time.
Man, you don't realize how much work goes into some of these edits until you're done with it. And I think the thing that also kind of spins into that is when you can. What I love, and this has happened to me so many times, when you see someone do something, and then you understand immediately how to do it, but never understood that you could do it. Like, for example, I just referenced Max Mofo. In his videos, he kept having this thing that would happen, and I never noticed it until maybe about 4 videos in, where in his Let's Plays, he recorded his camera in a separate recording and his gameplay in a separate recording, and then merged the two in the editing, as opposed to having his webcam on like OBS and then doing the full recording from there. That way he could expand it at will, do random things, and it didn't lose resolution.
Oh.
And it was crazy because I always just thought you did your webcam on your OBS source and did that, but by doing that he had this fluid ability to zoom in on a part of his face or zoom in on this or make a reaction, edit his face into this or that, and it was just this absolute fluid transparency, and I didn't click until I seen it. And that Russian Badger obviously is an example for you because that level of editing, it's like as soon as you see it, you know how to do it, but you have so much more appreciation for their content creation because they've obviously done something that, first off, you didn't know exists, but once you do, you're like, holy shit, they're on a different level. Like,
Yeah, especially with Russian Badger because he does everything by himself because he's very prideful of his work, and trying to pass that off to some editor, even though it might be more time saving, it might just not result into what everyone's used to.
yeah, and I think I just had this conversation with Liv. I'm always looking for the thing that is so obvious that I don't know is obvious at that point in time, because I feel like so many of those opportunities have just whizzed by my face. And as a content creator, you kind of want to be aware of these things, right? Like Fortnite, I knew about Fortnite before Ninja even blew up, and I kind of laughed it off because I remember having people in chat a long time ago when I mained only Rust say, you should play Fortnite, you should play. No, you should play Fortnite. No, I put it off. Then Ninja's huge. Same thing happened with Among Us. Among Us was around, look at this garbage game, look at the grass, they're so bad, blah, blah, blah. And then the people who gave it their all are now instantly up to the, primus of Twitch. And I think that stuff is so huge, and I'm trying to keep open to those opportunities and ask myself, is there something that is whizzing past me right now that I could possibly notice, whether it's a way that you do editing, a style of graphics, anything like that. Is there something like that maybe you've seen that you're like trying to hold in your pocket for the right moment to jump on that?
As far as editing styles
Or anything, yeah.
or techniques, not nothing in particular. I'm just trying to I haven't been doing well with it. I've been trying to one up my previous video and just like continually start increasing in the quality of the content. But for me, I say it comes down to time restrictions, but I am not motivating myself in order to do that.
Oh, it's
I'm just
hard.
trying to, yeah, I'm just trying to one up every single one of my videos, but it's also like just the time to take the research and the mental effort to like actually do it. Because once you get in that groove, it's like I take this 30-minute clip, and then I cut it down, and then I find the funny parts, then I add a text to it, zoom into my face whenever, and then call it the end of the day. But there's much more you could do with that, and I've seen a lot of content creators, YouTubers especially, do better with that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that's funny is a lot of people don't realize how much time you put into these things hoping that they're going to be the one that does it, right? Like for example, that video I put out of the royalty-free music thing earlier, I was like in my head the whole day like this one's going to hit. Like I know it, like I felt it, and I like checked out analytics of when it could possibly be good. And then at one point it didn't. And you know, sometimes you feel like it's going to be it or maybe it's not, and it's always about looking at that. I mean, I can't tell you how many unreleased videos I have because at the time I thought they were fire, and then after editing them and doing everything, I'm like, man, what was I thinking? There's nothing here. There's nothing to be enjoyed.
Right.
But spinning off of that for a second, now we're past the 5 questions, so we're good. We're out of the danger zone. We know enough about you to go ahead and move forward. But I did have 2 questions in particular. These are kind of more specific to you personally that I kind of want to get your opinion on for a content creator. The first one you've probably been asked a million times. You've probably talked about a million times, and I apologize for talking about it again. But first and foremost, thank you for your service. I think it's worth noting that you having a military background, has that influenced your content, like your willpower and your regimenting of everything and your discipline? Or do you feel like those are 2 separate lifestyles and maybe they don't coerce the same way people would think if they first thought, you know? I just had a stroke at the end of that sentence. I apologize. These IPAs, man, they're catching up.
But speaking of, I need to go like on a quick bathroom break soon because I
yeah, whenever you want, man. I'll edit this out.
Right. But with a military lifestyle, and content creation, I mean, you could draw parallels, but like before when I was mentioning my daily routine, it's basically the routine, and having a routine really helps you with structure and consistency. And as the algorithm with YouTube, TikTok, whatever, especially YouTube, they like the consistency for the most part. If you have good content,
yes,
you can be consistent and have doo-doo content and no one's gonna watch it. But but let's say default, you do have good content. If you post consistently, edit consistently, whatever, you're in the success.
Yeah, no, I get that as well. I mean, I don't know if they go hand in hand, but I figure there's times where I want to do something and I feel like maybe I'm not quite prepared to do the, if you will, like the work and everything else. I'm a bit tired, and I feel like maybe that militaristic discipline is something that's like, you know, just do it, like get it done, get the hard work done and whatnot. And I don't know if maybe you have that lazy moments in that or if that just happens, but I think you shine a good light on that. And then my final question of this segment before we can move on to the intergalactic grab bag, and when we pull out the 10 wings of increasing spiciness and eat those, is for you, as somebody who plays games, I would say arguably more on the competitive side than the entertainment side of things. Do you feel like your goal with content creation is to be competitively good enough in games that draws attraction? Or do you feel like you kind of want to approach this as a mixture of both because you think that maybe having the skill and the entertainment factor is the priority because you put a lot of work in your setup? You wouldn't do that if you didn't care about the entertainment. You put a lot of work into everything else and to make sure your stream, the peripherals, the TikToks, the socials, everything. But I know a few people, and I'll use Shroud as the largest example, whose main thing is just being really good at games and not really caring about everything else. Do you feel like you want to lean more towards that way or kind of meet this sweet middle point where you're semi-competitive but also have that ability to keep up with everything?
Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it. Like I have a competitive itch that I need to scratch on on an almost daily basis when it comes to video games. So I'm basically competitive with almost every single game I play. Like right now, I'm bouncing between Apex and Valorant right now.
Apex, wow. I remember pulling your teeth to play Apex.
Yeah, that was when I was on Fortnite. I'm like, I can't build a wall to make. All I gotta do is shoot. This is stupid. And I gotta learn new keybinds and all that jazz. Blah blah blah. But after I got burnt out. I got burnt out on ranked Valorant, so I went over to Apex, and I was having one hell of a time.
It's fun.
Yeah, very much. I love the movement mechanics. But yeah, it's like I feel like my entertainment value is mostly organic from just the way I am. So whether I'm playing casual or competitive, it really doesn't matter. But since I am a competitive person, it's naturally there's a sweatiness and a entertainment factor that coexist with each other.
Now, do you feel like that's a learned skill, or do you think that's natural? Because I watch your streams quite often. Obviously, I'm a very big lurker, as you are as well, because we're both people who are so busy in our own lives that it's hard to watch streams all the time. Like, you know, it's not easy for us when we're working on the content as well. But do you think that as someone who plays these competitive games, but is also entertaining, because when I watch you, you still have good commentary and everything else, but you're still fragging out in these games. Do you think that that's something that you had to teach yourself, or do you think that's something that for you came a bit natively? Because I know when I play a hard competitive game, I'm sitting there with my mouth open like, just trying to track down kills.
Yeah. Yeah, it's natural for me. It's definitely something that can be learned. It's gonna be harder though for especially a timid, shy person. But I think the main thing for me is I do not like quiet at all. I don't like the white noise that goes around if there's nothing going on. I mean, you're playing a game and there's like background noise and everything, but I need me to talk. I need the engagement from my teammates talking whatever I'm playing with. So I harp on people with communication. So that naturally led me to just like talking all the time. What was the question?
Your drink's getting you too, Oversoul.
No, I was just like throwing it out. I'm like, I feel like I'm going on a tangent. What was the question again?
No, the main question was,
yeah,
does it come natural? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. When I was thinking, I'm trying to think back when I was a kid. I wasn't too talkative. I was pretty shy initially, but I learned that it was a good social skill. Yeah, so I guess it's more learned, and now it feels natural after all these years. But it's something I had to learn to cope with the noise, not the noise, the silence, because I actually have tetanus in my ears, so. That's the ringing in your ears that happen when there's no noise going on at all.
Is that from military?
At least for me. It's partially.
Because did you see that viral video of that guy standing next to the mortar shell being blown off, and he didn't even cover his ears? He just stood there and the mortar blew off. And
after that, yeah. So. Yeah, it was mostly from the military, especially just like when you're sleeping in a tent and there's a generator that's like constantly going on, some giant diesel generator. So I got used to just all these loud sounds, whether it be just high explosive or just something running in the background. So I was always used to having noise somewhere. So when the noise is gone, my ears just start ringing. So for me to feel it, that's like I'm a constant talker, so. That's been learned to cope with my hearing condition.
So do you usually play at louder volumes, louder like attentive, like any of the what are they called, accessibility features, or are you just kind of?
No, I usually keep it at normal. I usually keep it lower for the most part. No, it has to be a perfect median, because if it gets too high, then my ear gets sensitive to like certain frequencies. So I have to find like that sweet spot.
Yeah.
So, like say whenever I play a game, I never have it at 100%. It might be different for my computer and the way it's set up, but I always have it around, I don't know, 60, 80%, somewhere around there.
Gotcha. Well, I'll let you run to the bathroom if you'd like. I'm glad that the segments they covered about the time I thought they were going to, so we're on good pace. When you come back, we'll get into the pretty much the grab bag. We'll just talk about whatever we want to. I know you wrote down a couple of topics. I appreciate that. Means a lot to me. So we'll start digging in as soon as you come back. I already know the first one. I'm queuing it up, Chief.
Okay, yeah, I'll be back real quick.
Oof. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in so far and hanging out. We're having a really good time today. I hope you guys are enjoying the content. Make sure that you guys, if you have any questions, put them in chat, and Rob by Sin's copying them all down to go ahead and grab for after so that we can jump into that. He just go ahead and spam that, so I appreciate that. Any questions, and we'll go ahead and make sure we get those to you. Let me know what you guys think about the actual formatting of this, the questions, the pacing, and everything. Any feedback you have, because I'd love to go ahead and do that. We already ran into at the beginning of this some technical difficulties that all of you guys have already seen. But I feel like it's going well. And if you guys also have any other content creators who you personally would like to have these questions asked to, and also dig into them a little bit more, please let me know, because we're going to be getting into some other stuff here that's going to be really, really fun now. We're past the main introductory period. Now it's going to be just the cosmic grab bag to steal from Star Talk there of anything that's going on in the universe of streaming and gaming, and really dive into that. No time limit on this. We're gonna have some fun, and then after that, me and Oversoul are gonna play some drunk Valorant. So I think that's gonna be a bit of a fun little segment there too. So yeah, it's gonna be real cool. Alrighty, this part's for YouTube. So 3, 2, 1, and welcome back, Oversoul.
Hello, hello.
Hopefully you drained easy enough. Honestly, I'm saying this part's for YouTube. I'm probably just going to lazily throw the whole thing up. Not even edit it. But we'll see. Maybe we'll feel like it. So just jumping on into this now that we're past everything, we can kind of talk freely about whatever we want. And the first thing I want to talk about, and boy, I've been stewing on this all day, is what I posted my tweet about earlier. Did you see... You don't have to look at the clip. Just so everyone who doesn't know, there was a woman on Twitch who ended her stream and thought that she was recording content for her OnlyFans. When she did this, she got fully nude and had a very provocative moment on Twitch where she showed maybe a bit too much, and Twitch issued a 3-day ban. 3 days. Now, mind you, Dr. Disrespect walked into a bathroom and got a multiple week ban. And saying the word simp, which I might regret right now, could potentially net you a permanent ban. I don't know how I feel about all this right now. I think that there's a bit of a gray area. But where are you landing on this? I mean, what do you think? What do you think of all the new TOS and the new age content creation and rules kind of placed on them? Because I feel like maybe they're going a bit too far. Myself, I really do.
Yeah, as far as when it goes to censorship, they're really knuckling down to cater to the more sensitive people. And I get it. Bullying is not a thing that should be happening. But it's like at the same point, like what can they really do? It's like that's really not going to do too much, but I just don't know what state Twitch is going in right now. I feel like there would have been a better solution. I don't know what that solution is, but I feel like there's a better way of approaching that.
I do too, to be honest. Yeah.
Specific terms, I'm like, there's more.
You know, they put a redaction up on Twitter. They put a redaction, and they said that they are only if it's targeted. But I think that the issue with that is most of the time it's not meant aggressively. It's usually disingenuous, just as a term of endearment almost, you know, almost a joke. I have a few members in my community who I personally joke around with like that a lot. We have it kind of ingrained in the Discord and everything, and I think that way of life is a different way of life that doesn't fit a blanket category of terms of service. Some people are just rowdier people. I'm sure when you were in the military, you didn't have TOS. It wasn't like you couldn't joke about certain things. It was anything goes, and that's kind of how it was for me growing up in.
It's getting more political in the army.
Is it now?
That's why.
I'm sure you have connections who know more about that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just going down a rabbit hole that I did not want to see the end of.
Man, yeah.
I can't kick people in the face anymore. It's tough.
Yeah? So I'm safe to go to boot camp now. Now I can get the rainbow sucker at the end.
Yeah, you can pull out. They have this thing called a stress card. If you feel like you're getting stressed out,
Are you joking?
pull it out. It's just I'm not joking.
You're not joking.
Regular card. You pull it out from your drill sergeant. It's like, I'm getting stressed out. Back away.
No way.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Oh my God, we're unleashing the whole can of sardines here, Chief. I had no idea that existed. I really thought you were being so sarcastic.
No, I'm not sure if it's in full effect, but I've
seen
heard
it.
from multiple people who've been to basic training and that's happened. Yes.
Wow. I wish I had that at work, man. Like the line's getting long. I'm like, hey, stress. That's.
Be gone.
Yeah, stress. That's it. Oh, that's your token that you got while you're in Africa, right? And you have the big one on the wall behind. Oh, you used to have it on the wall behind you.
No, yeah, it's still right over there.
Very difficult.
It's a big old open.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. That's crazy, man. I never thought that line of thinking and would ever be applied to that lifestyle, because I know it's always been this battle-hardened thing. I think that there needs to be something in place. There's obviously people who go way too far. We see them in our chats every single day, people who come in and they just cross the line. That's going to happen. There are going to be people who love that internet anonymity where they can kind of do things well across the line. And that gives them this kind of shield and border to go ahead and be that person. But I don't necessarily think that being so specific to the point where you're throwing blanket things out, I think that's when it gets kind of rough. Because obviously very hard words like N-word, R-word, things like that, they deserve their own category in the no zone for everyone. And I think everyone who signs up as a streamer should have to sign something that says that those things are off-limit topics, because they should be. But once you start getting into jokingly comments, right? If I was going to say something to you Oversoul like, oh, loser, like you lost that game or whatever. I don't want that to be targeted harassment that's all of a sudden going to jeopardize my own career and everything that I've worked for. I think that's where the line needs to be drawn. I don't know about you and if you've had any experience with that.
No, not really. Well, I mean, it's like the issue with some of these rules with.
Well, you just did. Sorry to interject. You just did on Twitter. You got DCMA'd for something that you had no music in.
Oh yeah, I thought we were talking about terms and stuff.
I guess yeah, that's slightly different. I thought
we were talking about specifically terms. Yeah, that was. If you guys didn't know, I got a DMCA strike on a video I posted 9 months ago that had absolutely no music in it. It was just me talking about getting my skateboard back. I don't know how.
Not to segue that rapidly. I honestly, in my mind, those two fit together. And now that I'm past that, let's go back to where we were. Continue.
What are we talking about?
I have no idea. All right, let's move past it. Yeah, DCMA.
Oh yeah, personal experiences with certain terms. No, not really. Everybody who knows me from stream, I'm pretty unfiltered when it comes to my language. I'd like to blame it on my military background.
Big true.
Which is honestly the reason. It's just like the environment you're in.
Been there, heard that.
I don't feel like I need to filter myself, especially like I'm not trying to be brand friendly or anything. I'm trying to have fun with this. And still trying to grow, so maybe at a certain point you guys are gonna see an unfiltered Ovi, or a filtered Ovi, and then become unfiltered after a couple of years, like Ninja did.
Dark mode Ovi, hello.
Oh no, I'm not turning a dark Oversoul again.
no, I'm saying dark mode. We're putting on the tag.
Dark mode Ovi.
Yeah, we're having some fun. No, honestly, I thought about that unfiltered lifestyle, and to be totally honest, I did kind of run a trial period of that, where I was very like PG on my streams. And what I found is that I actually don't like being overtly like swearing, right? I'll still roast someone and say that they smell like two Jamaican slapbox in an elevator, right? I'll still get at people and get under their skin, but I feel like just like blatantly saying like, oh, this effing POS, like I can't believe all this. Like I feel like at that point I've evolved past that. I mean, there's like the big loss in a Valorant game. You're like, fuck, like, oh, I can't believe that happened, like, whatever. But that's different than just like the people who throw it around as if it's salt and pepper on a steak, right? And I feel like that gets to this weird point, and I kind of admire what Ninja did, but I don't think I could ever go that far of full clean. I mean, for $500,000 a month, absolutely. No one said they'd be swearing my shit.
That big. It's a little bit easier too. And he's like, I'm just gonna ride this.
Can I totally interject for a moment? I really want to say something important that's huge for streamers that you just mentioned to me, and I really want to draw attention to this. I think that streamers need to stop shaming streamers on opportunities and calling them sellouts, because I think that any streamer who gets an opportunity, no matter what it is, has to accept that that's an opportunity that person has worked for, no matter what the stipulation is. People hear Raid Shadow Legends or things like that, and they instantly look at that as if it's this like, oh, you're a sellout, oh, you did this and that, blah, blah, blah. You couldn't make it off your content, so now you had to do those things, and I don't think it's fair. Oh, what a cutie. I can't even focus on my podcast now. You're stealing the show. What a cutie.
Xena, say hi.
Hi, Xena. What a cutie.
He's shy.
Camera shy? I wish I had Spanky here. That fatty doesn't want nothing to do with this podcast. I think I have to hold my dog now. Liv, I know you're watching. Bring Spanky here so I can hold him too. So it's even. All right, so we can continue the podcast as expected. Oh, those are all on the lips. Nah, man. Nah. Spanky hits me on the lips. He gets put in his case.
My justification is it builds up my immunity, my immune systems.
What, to more kisses? I don't.
Nah, dude, to germ.
Where were we though? Yes, streamers and opportunities. I feel like streamers should not be hindered by their opportunities. I feel like when you get those opportunities, you should take them. A lot of people watch YouTube, and every YouTuber who's worth their weight in salt has some type of advertisement at the start of their stream. You, someone who had Raid Shadow Legends as an actual sponsor, put that out there, and I feel like there's this weird kind of stigma of, oh, you have a sponsorship with like, oh, this or that, Raid Shadow Legends, oh, look at this guy, whatever, blah, 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 selling out. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think it's necessarily that. I think that you were just capitalizing on an opportunity, in which case you took the money and made something of it. And what do you think needs to kind of happen of that? What do you think that would be best for people to look for those opportunities, right? If they don't have the opportunities. And what do you think would be best for people to not feel that way about those? Because people hear that talk, and then all of a sudden, they don't want to do a promotion or look for sponsorships because they feel like they're going to be stigmatized for it.
For anyone that gets that, I was like when I got mine, it was completely unexpected. I just looked in my Stream Elements dashboard, and it's like, oh, you have a potential sponsorship with Raid Shadow Legends. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. It's like I was honored for it, and I didn't really have an issue with people clowning me about being a sellout or anything. Everyone was pretty happy about me getting it, and they were more than happy to help me out, because for the sponsorship, it needed to have participation from my viewers, my community. In order for me to like get anything out of it, I had to meet a bare minimum of a certain amount of downloads, certain amount of hours watched, all that stuff. But I feel like the people who would stray away from that because of the stigma of quote unquote selling out are the people who are bigger, and I'm not sure if anyone that's bigger out there needs an advice from someone my size, but just do what you gotta do. It's not solely influencing your content. It's not like that one sole sponsorship is taking up a 3-minute chunk out of your video or anything. Maybe like a minute max if that's the case, but it's like, do whatever you have to do, try to keep it minimally invasive to your actual content, and you should be good.
I have to agree with you, man. I mean, I think that I feel like the word sponsorship in streaming has kind of watered down, almost like watercolor paint, because what happens is it is this powerful word that details a lot of things, but what you find is, and this kind of is a perfect segue into what I mentioned earlier, Realm Royale. Or Streamer Royale, not Realm Royale the game, Streamer Royale. Bit of a backstory to everyone who doesn't know. When me and Oversoul first met, I met his brother through this program that was called Streamer Royale. It was a Discord that you joined as a streamer, and they had tier systems similar to Valorant, which was like copper, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, kind of moving forward. If you watch people in the Discord, you got points. And if you had more points, then you rose from copper to silver. And if somebody watched you in silver, they got more points. If they watched someone in gold, they got more points. If they watched someone in diamond, they got more points. And the whole point was to have so many streams open to the point where you got all these points and you got to diamond. However, in the long term, we realized it was a pyramid scheme because you never got past gold, no matter how hard you tried. Mind you, we tried our hardest, having 3 monitors of 10 tabs each of them with volume on, all playing diamond and platinum streamers, and never got past gold. And the people who were at the top always stayed at the top, and the people who were at the bottom always stayed at the bottom. Sponsorships should not be inclined to determine off of your growth, but they should only aid you in your growth, and they should only aid you in your forward stepping stones in your actual streaming career. You know, when we looked at that, Streamer Royale as a program, Royale streamers. Yes, thank you so much, Josh. I've seen that in chat. I don't want to address chat too much, but I've seen that, and it does correct it in my mind because I think that was a great story for everybody who has been in similar situations where they have follow for follows on Twitter, follow for follows on Instagram, different kind of programs like that, and to look out for that to be more secure of your content and not jump into that. And for you, Oversoul, is there something that you think maybe you took from that hugely that kind of kept you away from that stuff moving forward as you sharpened your content and career?
It just teaches me not to rely on others for the most part and to spend my time a little bit more wisely. Because I noticed, the people who will get rewarded for that, will just be the guys supporting all the time, and these guys had subpar streams, and if it wasn't for this pyramid scheme Discord server, they wouldn't have anything. And then luckily Twitch did something about it, and now they're back to being nobodies and not even streaming for the most part. Yeah,
I've noticed that once that actually, do you remember the day, I think it was a couple of years ago, where Twitch put the stop on that specifically on Streamer Royale programs, and then everybody dropped down in views, probably by, I think, like 90% of their view counts?
Probably, yeah.
I think, who was the Fortnite streamer who was really good? I think he had Duo's record. Do you remember him? Prospering. Dropped from 100 viewers to 9 a daily because of that. And that was unbelievable.
Yeah, Prospering was good, but he was, in my opinion, boring.
Yes, super. Oh my God, so boring.
He was a very quiet individual. He was good. He was good at the game, but he was just boring in my eyes.
And I'm not trying to throw shade. Obviously, content creators need to be judged, and no better person to do that than their peers, other content creators, right? But at the same time, Shroud's boring, but he's also so good at the game that's his whole spin, and he doesn't have any fluff. He's very straightforward about it. Hey, listen, this is what I'm streaming for. I'm very good at this game. That's it. Watch it or don't. I'm going to play it regardless. People, that's why they like watching it. Prospering was semi above like average, doing the same thing, and I feel like he wasn't at that point of entertainment and skill that needed to be brought to the table. I remember one time that I actually came into his stream, and I was like chatting him up, asking him all these questions, and he looked over and he's like, "Hey, yeah," and that was it. That's all I got from the content. And I don't know, I don't feel bad. I don't want to put negative connotations to anyone's names, but I feel like this stuff needs to be highlighted for streamers who might run into a similar situation and want that wherewithal to not fall into those same pitfalls.
Yeah, so, it was sad to see, but I was glad to see it fall. I mean, I wasn't doing so well, but the thing is, I was just starting. I mean, whenever you see a shortcut solution, most people are gravitate to that. And I was like, oh, this is just too good to be true. But then when you get in it and you realize how much time you actually gotta put into trying to rank up and try to get more views, and just to have the server reset and going back to the lowest rank, it was just very disheartening.
I love that wording that you just said right there, man. You said when there's a easy solution, people tend to gravitate towards that, or shortcut solution. That's massive, because I think that's the name of the game when it comes to streams. People want to gravitate towards that easy get-rich-quick scheme. And honestly, the hard part about streams is sometimes they are true. Some people find those, they get partnered, and they run with it while they have it. And some people just don't, and it ends up being kind of a bit of a negative connotation. Now, you wrote down a few topics, and I still have plenty more on my own, but I figure if you want to throw one out there into the wind, let's go ahead and attack that. What do you got? What do you got for me?
For my topics,
I know you have a couple written down. I still have more to go over myself, but
let's see what we got here. I'm trying to stay on topic of video games and everything. The one that I'm closely related to is, what is your favorite esports organization and why?
that's actually a really good question. For me, myself, I don't want to be too biased when I say this at all. And I'm not trying to be biased at all, but I would say probably two different ones. Main one right now overall is OTK. And that's just because they're brand new, right on the market, and it's because they're full of people who were really just a bunch of ragtag content creators who made it happen, right? It's a World of Warcraft specific content creation group, OTK, but it's Asmongold, Rich Campbell, SFan, Miskiff, who's on Twitch, a couple of other really great people who made that happen, and they did amazing with that. And then second to that as well, which I wouldn't even call it second, but I'd say parallel, is Tempo. And I think it's because I appreciate what Tempo is doing for their community to not be detached. I'm in Tempo's community on Twitch. If you ever go to my stream, you'll see that I'm in Tempo's community stream team. And they're really awesome. Tempo, the actual Tempo organization chat, the moderator, comes into my stream all the time. They always visit all the streams of anyone in the community. They always give them opportunities. They have a Discord filled with opportunity, and I think it's great. I think it's good that they are reaching further down to give everybody a chance to have a bit of exposure and a bit of love from their community, as opposed to other ones which seem so unreachable and inescapable, but yet held on this pedestal that it's almost as if like you can only see them through media and never through person.
Right.
Yeah. Is there one that you're maybe striving for or that you have aspirations towards?
I mean, I'm not really striving for anything. I'm part of esports organization right now. Still relatively new.
Seraphim, right? Yeah.
Seraphim. We're still on the come up for anything. No major accolades or anything. But I'm glad to be part of the team and to actually help bring him up, and we'll see what we can actually do. Did I freeze on? Okay, no, good.
You have that gorgeous jersey I seen as well on Twitter. That was awesome, man.
The jersey's awesome. So they did a fantastic job with the merch. But if I was gonna try to go for any organization, try to find it that has a lot of veterans in it, just like-minded people. I always like being around veterans. It's just something more relatable, just like brothers and sisters in arms. There's nothing else like it.
I've heard that a lot. It's really hard to escape that camaraderie that you've faced.
Yeah, there's nothing like it.
Until someone pulls out the stress card. Then they get bullied off.
It's hard to find a profession where you can be drunk off your ass and have to call someone 3 a.m. and they will pick you up and bring you home. It's I've had a lot of those people in my life while I was in the service, and I can't imagine anyone in my work right now that I could call and have that happen. So
Oversoul, I would make the trip cross country to take you home. I promise. I might be late. I might be late, but just worth mentioning.
You can pick up the body for the ashes.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I'll spread them over some kid doing 90s. It'd be really confused, but it'd be hilarious. No,
put me, I don't know, over the Great Canyon, attached to a ball rocket so I can just explode everywhere.
The Great Canyon. Yeah, I'll find that. Where's that? Is that?
I don't see my work.
There's some place in Oklahoma that's just a small canyon called the Great Canyon.
Yeah,
You're just spread all over there.
The All Right Canyon.
Yeah, it's the mild canyon. It's the mild. It's not grand, but it's pretty all right.
Yeah, we'll see if there's any org like that, but I'm happy with the one I'm in. If I ever get big enough to join one and I can do content creation, streaming full time, we'll see.
Now that's a great topic. What does being in an org mean? Right? Because a lot of people don't even understand what that means. Are you held to any quotas? Are you beholden to any specific sponsorships or opportunities? Or is it pretty much that you just represent the brand in all of your actions? What does that mean? Because so many people don't even have org opportunities. So obviously this one's larger for you, and I'm sure it has duties that entail with it.
Duty's not really, like I said, they're just starting up. We've been recruiting people. We are recruiting more people, as we speak. We just recruited 2 people within like last 2 weeks. But there's no major quotas or anything. We have meetings every now and then talking about what we want to do as an organization for the future to increase participation within our communities, especially with combining our communities together to have like group events or anything like that. But yeah, like I said, no quotas really. Yeah, you just gotta represent yourself. I mean, I'm pretty sure if I do something outlandish, I would get removed from the organization. But it's not like I would get fined.
Let's see it. No, let's see it. I want to see it. I want to see Oversoul have one of those "I'm sorry" statements on Twitter.
Oh, no, those are so fabricated.
Oh my God, they're awful. I can't take it.
Video.
I can't take it. I wouldn't even do a statement. I would just post my raw asshole right on Twitter and just say
There
"fuck
you
you."
go.
There it is, man. What? I'm not apologizing. I will say this right now, and I will be as serious as possible when I say this. I will never, ever, ever clip it, post it, whatever. I will never apologize to anyone for any action I take unless I really feel that I overstepped a boundary. I will never, ever, ever apologize because I feel like most of my actions are pre-calculated. But if they're not pre-calculated, they're usually in the moment. And I feel like humans need to be given an extra buffer of forgiveness because nowadays it's the soonest you make a mistake, you're instantly just
Cancel.
ostracized. You're put on this outside. You're not looked at anymore, and you can't have any forgiveness. I will never apologize, and I will always run headfirst into my love for content, love for everything else, and always take that for as serious as I can. Because as soon as you give into that, you've already forfeit. You've already lost the race. You can't feed it. You can't feed that dog any treats.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to look for forgiveness from the internet with how one-sided they could be. So I'll be just like screw.
Yeah, man. If people in my real life told me I messed up, then we were gonna talk. But if some random person with 7 followers on Twitter just told me that I was the worst person in humanity, I'm gonna sleep as comfortably as I can. I'm sleeping like a baby.
Right.
All right. Switching topics off that for a second. This one's been burning a hole in my pocket because I've loved it myself, and I don't know. I've never asked you this because it's recent, but Cyberpunk. Have you touched it at all? No.
I
have not.
I usually wait, whether it be a couple weeks, couple months until I get a new game that's brand out. I've always been the same thing. New consoles, new games. I always waited the next couple months.
Okay, gotcha.
So I have not experienced with it. I heard about the lag though. That didn't seem too promising.
So okay, yeah. So I did post that clip about it, but I do want to say that clip was before I did update my drivers because they did a legitimate day of that clip driver update. It released at like 8 p.m. NVIDIA. I did it and it fixed that issue, but there were still these issues where you can't stream it because OBS legitimately can't handle the game capture because they do certain things that were neat in game design that made really cool things. But to give you an example, and I'll try to put something up here, maybe perhaps on YouTube for anyone watching this on YouTube, where if you load into the game, the first scene in the game is a mirror. You're looking at a mirror.
All right.
Your OBS will play the view of the mirror looking at you. And I have no idea why. But you will see the mirror. You will be seeing the mirror, and OBS will show the mirror looking at you in the background. And it's real laggy and glitchy and really bad. So there's bugs like that all throughout that happen. You've seen the bushes happening. It wasn't fun. You've seen the shadow looking like a marionette doll. It wasn't fun. All of that stuff was really bad. But I will say this. Once you dig into the actual content of the game, it is a gold mine. It is phenomenal and has so much good content and storyline and side quests and chain quests and everything that make it really worth it. If you were to play this game, though, for you specifically, if you were to play this game, do you feel like those unpolished bugs would be something that draws a line where you feel like the developers went beyond their wherewithal to make this game and they should have waited longer? Or do you feel like they did all they could in the time frame with COVID and everything? I'm on the second side of that.
Yeah, if they had to push it out, as long as they didn't put all the development and processing within an unreasonable amount, like a couple months,
Well, they did. That's the actual business side, though. That's not the game developers. The game developers asked for postponements. How many times at Cyberpunk? They've been postponing that game since what? 2004. They've had plenty enough time with that game. But now we're at this point where all of a sudden we're seeing this game finally reach its coming of age, and on Xbox, what is it, Xbox One and PlayStation 4, it just looks like a claymation, like a Lego Star Wars. Like, it's really bad. Like, it has no detail to the graphics and things, and I don't know if I fault them.
I mean, as long as they attempt to fix it with future patches, then we don't really have an issue too much, as long as they're staying on it. I don't know what the specific issues are and how bad they are personally, so just hopefully if they can fix it, then we shouldn't have an issue.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be another Fortnite black hole, right? I mean, that's biggest mistake you can make in gaming.
Still don't have no idea what happened. There's so many excuses for that one.
I think it was honestly a legal battle that they just had to find a resolution for. They tried it.
It's like in China, like the event didn't happen in China yet because of the time zone or something, so they had to do it, but wasn't it like 3 days or something?
I didn't know. No, it was like 7 days, and I didn't know China was a week ahead of us.
Yeah. That was complete BS.
That's crazy that the time zone's that far off. Yeah, you're right. So I just glanced at chat quickly, but I did see that the PlayStation, the Cyberpunk was taken off the PlayStation Store. Which, by the way, you can still buy a physical copy and still play it. You can still buy a physical copy and play it. But PlayStation took it off their store because of the amount of refunds they were losing profit on it.
Oh, dang. That makes sense.
That's crazy that game got that much blowback. But that's only on the 4. On the 5, the refunds are minimal. On the 4, they are unfathomable. They're massive. It's just such a different level. I think it's crazy that they did that. I think it makes sense. They did say that anyone who still wants a refund but wants to keep the game can do so upon certain circumstances. They put that on Twitter. I might be misreading it. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's crazy. I can't even imagine that they'd go to that level of PlayStation taking a game off of the actual Play Store because of the too much loss of profit.
I've never heard of that, but as long as they're doing something bad at the end.
I mean, they said that they're going to be putting out updates January and I think March as well for the game to really bring it up to speed. But man, it's such a well thought out game, and from the creators of amazing games like The Witcher and plenty of other games, CD Projekt Red had such a big shoe to fill with Cyberpunk, and I don't think they could have ever filled it. I don't think they could have ever filled it if they gave you literally $7,000 with the game release. They couldn't have filled it because the game would have been. It wasn't $8,000. Like, after that long, there's no way they could have done that. All right, I'm bouncing back to you, Oversoul. I'm looking to you for content. What do we got on the list that's next? Because I still even got more.
As far as when it comes to games?
Anything, man. Go off games.
Content, let's see.
Do whatever. Pick one.
I today actually I was playing this game called The Forest with a couple of my friends.
I love Forest.
You know how it is, one of those like raft Minecraft games where you craft stuff and survive. You have an enemy that's always trying to kill you, so hopefully
the zombies,
some clips out of that. But other than that, just
you can beat it, but that's not fun.
Valorant. You can beat them. You can beat the game.
You can beat the Forest. Yeah, you didn't know that?
Okay, yeah. I mean, it was the first day, so we'll see what happens. It's gotta be like Minecraft, where you can defeat the Ender Dragon at the end or something.
Yeah, you basically solve the puzzle and go through. You have to go get pieces from different things. Go in that giant hole in the middle. There's so many different puzzle pieces that you can figure out that actually will defeat the game. Yeah.
I see. Okay, that's good. I like survival games that have like some sort of plot line.
You did Grounded, right? Do you still play that?
Oh yeah, Grounded was good. Grounded's not fully complete either. So they're still releasing out updates for that little by little.
They weren't refunded on the PlayStation Store.
No, not that. But I'm all Subnautica Below Zero. You know how I am with Subnautica. I love the game. So the sequel, Subnautica Below Zero.
Yeah, you played that a lot.
As far as it goes, but it is still in early access. It's been in
really.
almost a year.
Wow. Isn't Fortnite still in beta?
Yeah.
I think it's still in beta. I mean, that's such a weird thing because before, like, beta and alpha meant one thing. World of Warcraft set that precedence because World of Warcraft had alpha beta release, which was alpha was like, it's so bad, but it's free game development and game testers, right? Why have paid game testers when you could give someone a key and tell them they are a game tester now? They love that shit. So people are going to take that alpha key and drink it like all day. They give them a beta key, even more polished, but slightly less polished. They're going to drink that all day. And then you give them the free release because they played the alpha and the beta. That's a 100% guarantee for success. I can't imagine why every game company doesn't do that. But the fact that now they're calling stuff in beta is weird because Fortnite technically never released from beta. So they could call it full game release at any point and take away every skin and everything at some point because it's not out full release. It's still in beta. And other games have done beta purchases just like Valorant. Valorant did beta purchases and then gave people back their money, plus some.
Yeah, just imagine Fortnite doing a whole refund.
Oh my god, dude.
They would lose somewhat. Would they actually lose money?
That would be a bank account at that point. I have my Fortnite savings account, $3,000.
Some people. I mean, like they would refund it back in V-Bucks, so it never you gotta spend.
I don't imagine how they could do that.
Get money either way.
With the what is it? The creator code. With the creator code, there's no way they could do that. I don't think at this point.
Oh, I don't think so. No, definitely not.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
chapter 2, season 2? They made the game full public.
Oh, they did? Okay, no, that's good to know. I had no idea of that. No, I had no idea of that.
Honestly, dude.
Well, they never like made it a big thing. It was probably in the bottom of a fucking patch notes. By the way, game's now public. Lol. Yeah. Yeah, there's none for games these days.
Right? They kept it in beta for so long. It's just something like with the rules. It's something with the rules where you can only update a game so often if it's full release.
Yeah.
I believe that's how it is. But with a beta, you can put out updates like that. That's why, like, when we first started playing it, there was like constantly new weapons, new map updates.
I gotta say this though, man. That game is as fun as it gets right now. It was really bad before. The last 2 seasons were awful. But recently I've been playing it, and I've been playing actually a bit more ranked competitive. It's really fun right now because you don't have the stress of all of these really crazy, wacky things going on. It really is just like similar back to when there was Hop Rocks. There's these stones you eat where you could teleport now, kind of like just a short distance. The gun, like, loot table is pretty back to where it was before, too. It feels really comfortable. I like it. Excuse me. I like it a lot.
It's pretty decent. All I cared for was the optimization of the game because I hate FPS drops, and they did a really good job about it. Especially they recently released a performance mode because you got DirectX 11 then DirectX 12, but they made a performance mode where it would run on basically mobile graphics. And help save you on FPS, especially like if you have a 240 hertz monitor, and you know how hard is it to just even break over 200 FPS on a standard PC rig, especially in Fortnite, because those would drop you down to like 80, and it would just be unbearable, especially with a game as fast paced as Fortnite.
So fast, it's so much. Like, it's crazy.
You want all the frames to stay as consistent as possible. So they fixed that, and I've been having more fun with this, especially with my friends.
Absolutely. I want to go ahead and cue into kind of segment 4 a bit. I know Slip has been, not Slip, so my apologies. Rob by Sin, I just seen the name Slip in chat. I know Rob by Sin has been collecting questions the whole day. Rob, you can feel free to send those to me now, and I feel like we should go ahead and jump into those because I'm super comfortable doing that now. And I know there's been a couple of questions asked today for either of us, both of us, and I think that, to dig into what everyone's interests were during this whole thing, no matter what point it was, we have a couple of them here. We could spend, another half hour here and then switch to our drunken Valorant escapades in just a little bit here.
Yeah, let it fire.
Alrighty, so number one question that I saw here from Rob, thank you so much for collecting these, Rob, was, do you have any advice for beginner streamers? Do you mind if I take this one first?
Yeah, go ahead.
My biggest advice for beginner streamers that I have to just jump off the bat is please, if you do anything, value your content and plan your content more than you know, right? Size up the biggest streamer you know. the one that you aspire to the most, and understand and research what they do and why they do it, and then try to emulate that yourself in your own ethos, because I think that's the number one thing so many people miss. A lot of people make this excuse, and I've heard it probably a million times where people say the same thing. Oh, I don't really care if anyone stops by. I'm just streaming for fun. I game anyway, and if they stop by, oh well. It's like, then why press go live, right? You don't have to press go live. Leave it where it is. But you press that because you're hoping that people do. You're hoping that you draw something from that. So if you're hoping that this is going to lead to something, you wouldn't go into a brand new job with shitty clothes on and not really caring about what you're going to be doing. You go there with your tie and your nice outfit and your binder to write things down because you want to seem professional. Do the same thing with your stream. Treat it like it's going to be your job. Give it all of your effort, and I promise you, the more work you put into it, the more it will pay off. You can take it from here.
Yeah, the people who say that are not being completely honest with themselves. Like, exactly, why press the live button if you're just doing it for fun? Especially like streaming. It takes time to...
It becomes so much less fun when you press live, by the way. I just wanted to... It's so much less fun.
I know the people that say that are usually people with like star PCs, so it consumes resources, your CPU, your GPU, especially if you don't have it configured right. So why waste the resources to do it? So you think you're gonna get randomly rated and you're just automatically going to become popular from that?
No, yeah.
You need to be able to retain your view. I know multiple rated by big streamers, and some of them retain their viewers because they were already they already had a good stream. But I know the people that like were usually streaming to anywhere from 0 to 3 viewers. They didn't retain their viewers at all. So if you're hoping for that raid and you're just not entertaining, don't have a good streamer, I think you're not going to retain those.
Yeah, you're never going to have success from that. And I think that's worth noting. I mean, you have to rely on your own content to carry your content. You can never rely on the luck of the draw. Maybe Mr. Beast is going to stop through. Maybe Ninja's going to stop through. Maybe something else. It's not going to happen. You really have to rely on your own content and every avenue of it. I think that if I can give any advice to new streamers right off the bat, focus on your peripherals. Your Twitch, your Twitter, your Instagram, your TikTok. Focus on those things as much as you focus on your Twitch. Your Twitch should be 50% of the battle. Those things should be 50% of the battle, and given that much credibility. A lot of people pour their heart into their Twitch stream and don't do anything else on the other side, and their throughput is so much less because their exposure is so much less, and that's such a hamstring to their own content. You see it all the time, and it feels so bad.
Yeah, and just to caveat off that, even if you're live, you barely grow from being live. Like, what's a couple of follows gonna do to you? Increase your ego for how many followers you have? It's all about like who comes back and who interacts with you. And once you stop streaming, you don't grow when you're not streaming. Like, how many times have you looked into someone's VOD, someone's clips, and looked through it and it's like, oh, I'm gonna follow this guy. I know I've never done that.
No, ever.
Someone's VODs, I never went to
ever, yeah.
And then followed them because of that. And I've been on Twitch for 2+ years. So yeah, that just goes to...
I will say a few times there's been people who have been really consistent on social medias to the point where you can't avoid them, and those are the people who have gotten a follow from me. Where you see them really consistent. Yeah, you see them so consistent on social media with their clips and everything, and you're like, I want to see a bit more of this. So you follow them and you subscribe to them, and that's how that chain works. And I can name a few offhand. I know, obviously, Lipsy the Unicorn. I know there's someone brand new. I can't remember the full name. Quesadilla, she's awesome. A couple of people who I've actually watched their content through Twitter and saw really good stuff, and then that led to me actually being a full Twitch supporter. Through Twitter, through Instagram, through TikTok, through everything. Those are such great avenues to actually meet content creators, and I think that they're not exposed enough. That leads to question number 2, and I think that they both kind of work together, question 2 and 3 that we got asked here while we were doing everything. How did the first follow feel is question number 2, and I'm going to go ahead and broaden that to say the first few follows. And for us, I'd say maybe the first 100, because I think that we probably share similar experiences in that. And then the second question is, what demotivates you in relation to streaming? And I think that that's huge too, because they go hand in hand. Because your first 100 follows is good, but then when you don't get the second 100, You're demotivated, and that's the way that it goes. It's a seesaw that goes your entire streaming career until you finally take charge of that. Because for me, the first follows obviously felt amazing, but they do now too. They feel the same way. Every follow I get these days, doesn't matter if it's a passerby follow, doesn't matter if it's anything. They literally hit me in the heart. Like, oh my God, thank you so much for pressing that button. You didn't have to, but thank you. And what's demotivating to me, honestly, it used to be numbers. When I was a growing content creator, it was numbers. I hated it so much. I would look at my viewer count, I'd look at my follower count, I'd look at everything, I'd compare it to everyone, size me up, and I'd say I'm missing something, I'm garbage, I'm not doing it right. But now what demotivates me is when I could see weaknesses in my own stream. When a stream, I'm biting my nails, and I'm not talking, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just distracted and everything else. That's what demotivates me, because I realize that all of a sudden, I've taken what I've mastered, or am trying to master, and I've taken 3 steps backwards to my content. And I watch my own streams. I watch them every single time. I skim through them. Of course, I'm not going to watch 4 hours of my own content every single stream, but I watch them and see if I tabbed in at a specific moment, would I be entertained? If I'm not, back to square one. We're going back to the board, right? We're going back to the drawing board. We're looking at it. But if I could tab to 1 hour, 23 minutes, 45 seconds, am I entertained right there? If I am, good. I did it, right? And we do that a couple times through all my VODs. And if I'm not entertained, then guess what? Back to the drawing board, because I should not have a moment where I wouldn't want to watch my own streams.
Right.
Please take it from there. First follows.
Okay. Yeah, first follows. Okay, let me tell you guys this for real. Okay, so my first 300 follows were follow for follow. I was very focused on the numbers, and I thought that would bring me up. Obviously, it didn't. I was still averaging like anywhere from 0 to 3 viewers at that first point. I initially did it just to get to the 50 follower mark, just so I could get affiliate. Because once you get affiliate, you don't even have to worry about it anymore.
Before you could buy it, by the way.
Yeah, before you could buy it. So I was doing that, then I got affiliated, but then I just wanted to keep getting those numbers up. I'm like, if I have those numbers up, it'll make me a little more credible as a streamer. But eventually, after the 300 follows, I stopped doing the follow for follow. I unfollowed most of the people I followed from that, and if they unfollowed me, it's whatever. I got my affiliate. But yeah, now every time I get a follow, I'm just like, I'm always wondering where these guys come from. So, and it's like super surprising to me, and I love it because either I'm showing on people's recommended channels, which is crazy to me.
I love when they say that, by the way. I love when they say, hey, you were on Twitch's recommended page, so I stopped by. When you say that stuff to me, that's better than foreplay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge. I came from recommended, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, like these guys took the effort. It's like, or it's coming from my social media. For me, it's usually from my TikTok. TikTok's when I started getting my my little blow up from.
Yeah, I skipped that earlier. We're gonna jump back to that because I really want to talk about TikTok, because that was something that you and another one of my friends pioneered massively. I could name him. Can I really quickly? Everyone is watching right now, and this is probably gonna be edited out. I have to skip. I got to a really shitty part in this music. It's like slow as fuck. Like it's like jazz music in a funeral home. It's so bad.
Oh goodness gracious.
Yeah, it's like lo-fi hip hop, but it's like lo-fi. I'm gonna not be happy.
Lo-fi hip hop, and I'm just gonna.
Lo-fi crip crop, dude. I'm sad. All right, skip it ahead. Anyway, I have a friend, Gutsy Aiden, who used to go by Fatal Skids on Twitch. He had a couple hundred followers, went on TikTok, started doing tech reviews. One of his videos blew up. He got partnered on Twitch that month.
What was he doing in that video?
I might be wrong on the actual statistics of the data of when things happened, but that's literally the path he took. He was on Twitch with a few hundred followers, right? He went by Fatal X Skids. I know this because we used to play all the time. We have clips. He showed me a clip from, I think it was like 2015 of us playing like a game a long time ago. He showed me a clip, and we were so young of streamers and young of content creators. He was putting clips on TikToks under Gutsy Aiden. Gutsy Aiden. One of his things blew up. He instantly got to 7,000 followers on a brand new Twitch account that day. And then started streaming with 100 viewers every single day. First stream, got partnered a month. That was it. That's literally his path. And you're someone who's also pioneering TikTok as kind of this driver's permit to success. And I think, what do you think about people who shunned that before and now see that as a path of opportunity?
For people who shunned it before, I mean, I can talk about it because I shunned TikTok because just the stereotypical TikTok dancing cringe that I saw on my Facebook ads, people lip syncing movie scenes or TV scenes. I'm like, what's with this app and why is it so popular? It wasn't until a couple months ago, like literally 6 months. I'm not sure what brought me to it. I think I saw some streamers like they had their TikTok account in their commands or something, and I checked it out. I'm like, oh wow, they're posting gaming content on here. Then I downloaded TikTok and I figured out I was able to filter out all that cringy content that I didn't want to see, and I could see the content that I more familiarized with. Then I started posting, and it was probably a while. I'm gonna say like the first 50 to 100 posts. It was just I was doing all right. I was mostly trying to capitalize on my dogs to get me clout because they are.
It worked, dude. They're so cute.
Yeah, it's like it worked for a little bit, but much.
You brought them into the podcast. Ever since it's been your podcast.
Yeah, apparently. And I started. I put Fortnite clips. Some of them did pretty well. But not enough to result in any more follows. Well, the one thing for me was when I started playing Valorant, about was it June? No, so like about 6 months ago, I started posting Valorant clips, and I started posting these clips where it was just very relatable to people, where it was just toxic teammates. And that's the thing, is like if you post content that's relatable to people, and a lot of people in Valorant can relate to having toxic teammates. That's
it's so bad, yeah.
Or like very wholesome Valorant content. Like this guy's like, he figured out by the quality of my mic, he's like, "Are you a streamer?" And I'm like, "Yeah." We were game live. Give him my my Twitch, and he checked it out. I was like, "Oh," and he said all stuff about me. It's like his whole squad gave me a follow because I'm doing a 3-stack.
You're cutting out just a little bit. Is your sensitivity a bit low? I feel like maybe is.
Yeah, I think my sensitivity might be a little bit low. Let me just. There we go. That should do it.
All right,
Yeah. So, basically, I had some relatable whole Valorant TikToks, and those started blowing up. So I started posting more Valorant clips. Also, I was enjoying the game a lot more too. So I was just posting clips nonstop, and I got back into editing, and I got more proficient with editing. So I was able to roll out those clips that much faster.
Quick interjection. Somebody actually asked this earlier as a separate question. I just want to throw it in really quick because you're on the topic. What do you edit with? They just asked that.
DaVinci Resolve.
Okay,
it's
perfect.
Free software. That I like free, so.
There it is. Continue.
I highly recommend it. Yeah, so I started posting on there, and then it started blowing up. I started plugging my Twitch at the end of the clips. I put it in my bio and everything, and I was getting people to come in during live on the streams like, "Oh, I'm coming from your TikTok." I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome," and everything. And so I eventually was a lot of offline follows. I think when
that's the best. That's the best as a streamer. Offline follows
are the best.
Dude, it feels so good.
Yeah, I didn't get offline follows until I started posting on TikTok or just like creation content outside. And yeah, so I started getting a lot of those, and I just kept going at it, and I've been slowly growing.
Yeah, you're doing numbers there right now. What's your at for followers? Like you're at a pretty decent number, right?
I'm at 8,000 right now.
Wow, yeah, no, that's massive.
It stagnates every now and then. Yeah, it's like 8,000 followers, and I'm at a total of 200,000 likes.
Wow, so, holy shit.
Yeah,
I think I'm at least 1,000 of those.
Yeah, don't worry,
I like everything, man. I double like them. No, not my numbers. I'm like 1,000 of your likes. I love them, dude. Your content's awesome.
Yeah, I try to do my best with that, and that really taught me to. So there's a balance between quantity and quality with your content, especially on TikTok, because you're playing the algorithm. So I'm doing a combination.
So much algorithm.
I'm not trying to spend too much time on one clip, and I'm trying to figure out what clips people like, because you really gotta grab people's attention within the first 2-3 seconds.
That's why in a lot of the clips, once you told me that, if you've noticed, my last 3 clips sentence, the first 3 seconds are always like something that either confuses you or something that draws you in to have to watch the rest to understand it.
Right.
Like that one, I'm like, Kermit the Frog, Kermit, and you're like, all right, hold on, wait, like, how does this even relate to Kermit the Frog? And then like you have to stay for it. Once the meme plays, you got to see what the rest is, and then now you're in it. And that advice actually legitimately was a domino effect to my content creation in trying to shape my own path. But I will say the one thing I did take, and this draws way back to earlier in the podcast, I draw from Max Mofo because watching his videos on YouTube, one thing he does is a lot of word cues on his stream. Like he'll say like fresh, and it'll like pop up on the screen large. It'll be like set like just like the word fresh, and it's like in such a funny way that it's perfect comedic timing that I love that in my videos. And I think that you gave me so much great advice for that made me draw out of my shell, because I was always so embarrassed about my recordings and my clips, and I hated posting them because I'd watch them over and over and I'd be like, this is awful. But once I took control of my own editing path and my own content, I felt like I had this power now to create my own image of myself. And that was what really turned it around on me. It wasn't what people were thinking of me, it was what I was thinking of me. And if I could watch that video and laugh after it, because you know when you're editing, it plays 70 times, 700 times. You're listening to that same clip over and over and over.
Yeah.
You have to hear it. If you still laugh the 700th time, then you know it's a good clip. You know you actually got something that you're working with. But if you're halfway through editing, you're like, this is awful. Like, you know to abandon ship and kind of get out of that place.
Yeah, even sometimes I'll post it. I'm like, I already put the time in. I'm just gonna post it if they like it, whatever.
No, go ahead.
What someone said. Sorry. But I gotta put this in. It was sort of a study where, people had to create like the perfect pot, like pottery, like with a pot. And there was 2 different groups. There was one group that, they had 30 days to just create one pot as perfect as they could. And there was another group that just had to dish out as many pots as possible. The group that made the best pot at the end of that 30 days was the quantity, the one that was shelling out pots like no other, because they had so much repetition.
Oh,
with making
yeah.
They were able to make the perfect pot, except in not regard to the other people who spent 30 days making one pot.
Yeah.
If that's even possible, I'm not
No,
sure.
that's a really good analogy for that. No, you're talking about like the clay pottery. Yes, like the actual.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a really good analogy, because I feel like inexperience from fear doesn't excuse lack of quality. And that happens so often, where people don't do something because they're afraid, and then when they enter that field, they were so afraid that their quality's so low because they don't understand what it takes to really go into that field. And when it doesn't do numbers, they feel like it's an insecurity because their content's not good. Right. You have to approach that as if your content is good, but it needs sharpening. And I feel like every video I post is a sword that I'm slowly getting really sharp. I have the whetstone, I have the oil, and I'm really going at it. And eventually, I'm going to hit this point where I know my editing process like that, where it takes 20 minutes instead of 2 hours, and I can really get a TikTok done like instantly and have that good. But sometimes now, I overanalyze, and I think that's that 30-month clay pot team, where they spent, or 30-day or 1 month clay pot team, where they spent that whole time working on one, instead of spending time just firing them out until you finally got the process down pat.
Right. Yeah, I found that to be a very good analogy when it comes out to content creation on TikTok.
So we have 2 more questions.
Go ahead. I think YouTube's another beast, but that's if you can spend the time to make that 30-day pot for just that one, if you're already up there. But if you're starting out,
I want to get someone who does YouTube on here, because I think that I really want to do streamers mostly. But I think a YouTuber would be a really good difference of content, because that's a different lifestyle. I mean, to spend time making a YouTube video, I mean, a lot of YouTubers put a lot of money investment into one large video, a lot of time investment, and what could be 3 weeks could be a 20-minute video. And that's really hard, because right. I do 1 hour of gameplay, and trying to edit that into a 20-minute video feels like I have way too much. But imagine those people put 3 weeks into something and then have to put that into a 20-minute video to meet the algorithm. I can't even imagine that stress. Yeah,
I cannot. One person example, if you know Michael, the crazy dude who makes the crazy robot gadgets.
Michael what?
Michael Reeves.
Yes. He's part of the
offline TV.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
He's famous for posting only like once a month at the earliest, because he puts so much time in his videos, and of course, what he's doing, programming, robotics, coding, all that stuff, that doesn't happen in a fortnight.
Yes. Yeah. No, it does not.
Yeah, and his videos could turn out super well. And it's not just it takes time for him to do that stuff. It just he kind of has this perfectionist mindset where he's editing his videos and do a bunch of takes just to get it the way he wants.
Yeah.
And it works.
I have to shout someone else out too in that same breath. Frost. FRAWST, who plays Rust. If you've never played Rust, his videos still hit near 1 million views sometimes.
Dang.
And they're Rust videos. He edits them using in-game Rust editing clips for previous playthroughs. And they come out so cinematic and so interesting. They're usually 30 to 40 minute videos, but he's posted analytics before. Most of his viewer count and subscriber count watches the entire video because it's this drawn out story that drags you in, and now you're invested. 20 minutes in, there's a plot twist, and all of a sudden now you got to see how it turns out because this happened, that happened. It's so incredible. In this game of Rust, where there's this limited frame of what you can do, he expands that to the nth degree for boundaries, where all of a sudden there's so much complexity to just having a rock and a torch and lighting a fire. There's this giant story behind it, and now you're invested. And he does amazing. He actually, when I first ever started on Twitch, I played nothing but Rust, and he was a big proponent in my success because he saw me as a low Rust streamer, but saw that I was somebody who actually was going. He hosted me a few times, and then also so did Vertigo Games, who played Rust. But then it was so much of a blessing to me because of the fact that it's like somebody who you already watched their content. Like you mentioned the Russian earlier, who you love watching on YouTube. If he did the same to you, it's almost as if this is someone who you already support, and they bestowed upon you this recognition. It doesn't even matter about the numbers and the analytics because honestly, host numbers, follows, and things like that are very minimal to your actual analytics because they're temporary.
Right.
It's more about somebody recognizing your actual effort, and I think that's what really gives you peace of mind as a creator. Isn't the numbers, but is knowing that other people in your same shoes recognize the work you put in and acknowledge that. And I think that gives me this big sigh of relief after all my content creation. Yeah.
Yeah, the positive affirmation of all that.
From peers.
Like reinforces. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you got people who, and I'm not saying this in a mean way, lower content creators who have lower numbers, lower everything. I don't like to look at it that way, but you get kind of daps from that all the time because those are people who are aspiring, and I've been in those same shoes. I'm still aspiring. I looked at people higher than me. Few I can name, Dr. Disrespect, I said Maximofo, I said Ninja. I have plenty of people like that who I aspire to be like. But I think that there's something about people who are on your same level telling you that you did something good, right? That's what feels the best to me. And I think that's awesome. I wanted to tackle these few questions quickly. There was 2 more left that I wanted to address before we can go ahead and end this, get to Valorant. Number 1 was, what is the hardest part about streaming for you personally? I'll let you tackle this one first.
Hardest part about streaming is probably not streaming for as long as I want to. Yeah, that's like the worst. Especially, like I said, I have that competitive itch, especially when I'm playing a game like Valorant, where the games can last anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes, usually on the latter side being the longer. And when I play those 3 games, it's been already 3 hours or so, and it's my time to leave. So that's probably like the most frustrating for me streaming. I'm perfectly content with my content. I think I have my system pretty down packed for whatever I do when it comes to entertainment and gameplay.
Yeah.
It's just like the time with it. I wish I would be able to stream for longer, maybe at a different time where people are able to watch my stream more conveniently, because that's something I get from chat sometimes. It's like, you're always streaming when I'm doing homework, blah blah blah. I mean,
it feels so bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad. I was like, they can have it on the background, but I don't know. They gotta concentrate on their schoolwork
or whatever it is, their work in real life. Yeah.
Whatever they're working on, work or whatever.
I feel the same thing because I feel like I have to go live so late because of our real lives.
Right.
They're so jam packed. Some days I get home at 6. And people think like, why don't you start your stream? Well, I have to take my dog out. You have dogs, so you're taking dogs out. You have to make sure that they're fed, make sure that there's food on the table, make sure that the chores are taken care of, make sure that the bills for that week are paid, make sure that the dishes are done, make sure that everything's taken care of. Your stream room has to be set up. The lights are correct, your webcam is correct. OBS resets your camera settings every single day that you open OBS. You have to fix that and correct that back to settings. Yeah. You have to do everything every single time. It's like you don't get this immediate break. It's not as if I get home at 6, I start at 6, because there's so much to do in the ramp up to where you're actually creating content. I think that's not acknowledged enough, but people shouldn't feel as if they're stressed for that time, because you deserve to be a human and have that time frame to breathe and pace yourself until you feel like you can put out the best thing you can do. And the final viewer question, go ahead, sorry.
Oh yeah, I was just saying, like, some of the people I noticed that make it big aren't in our shoes, because once they're doing whatever they gotta do, they'll just stream. It's usually like some kid in high school. They don't have to worry about that stuff.
Yeah.
So dinner's already taken care of. So like as soon as they're done doing whatever with school, and maybe in a job that they probably don't have a job at that point. But that's speculating. But anyway, yeah, it's like they don't have all those responsibilities. So after they're done doing their basic responsibilities for whatever they're doing that age, they just stream for however long. But I'm like, it's a lot more complicated when it comes to our situation, because there's time that goes into whatever house projects, going out, taking care of our significant other, all that.
So much stuff, man. I mean, you don't even know. Like, one day you get home and it's the wrong time of the month. The cravings are going crazy. You just need to make a run to 7-Eleven. That's an extra 20 minutes you didn't factor in. But it's impossible to try to schedule life as an adult that's also streaming. But I think that people like us are doing our best to make sure that the peripherals, and I always say the word peripherals as things that are out of your immediate field of view, pertaining to things like your social medias, your other cross-content platforms, and things like that, as the major importance. Because as you mentioned, those offline follows and offline everything are the bread and butter of what really creates a good stream. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like meeting new people too.
Yes. You have to meet them somehow. Final question that was asked about this was, I'm just going to rephrase it a bit. This one came from Sneezy, but I'm going to rephrase it a little bit to try to make it a bit more general, was, what do you think are the pros and cons of community or solo games in gaming these days for somebody who's streaming? Do you think that there's a value to doing community or solo games? Or do you think that it's something where, we touched upon this a bit earlier, but I think it's more about the content that you create or having fun with the community, if that is fun to you? Like, what do you think is kind of the line drawn? Because I know sometimes you play with community, but eventually it gets to a point where you're like, all right, I need to play alone. And then you play alone to the point where you're like, I'm lonely, I want people with me. There's kind of this like, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a balance. I think engagement with your viewers is important, and it doesn't have to be community games, honestly. Like, I'll talk to my viewers and everyone in my community in Discord while I'm offline. So that's one way to do it. Even just when you start off your stream and you're just chatting and you interact with your viewers that way. Yeah. That's a good way to get viewer interaction. But like, yeah, if you set like one day a week where you play with your viewers, and it really depends what game you play. Like for me playing Valorant, I could do like 10-man customs if I could. That would be a good way to do that. So it's definitely good to make your community feel like they're actually part of the community and they get to see you, and it's not like those other social media content creators who feel like untouchable. They're like God in your eyes.
It's almost no matter how hard you try, you can never reach them. You might get a like if you buy their merch and then post it on Twitter. You might get a like then, but not even guaranteed then. If I had any recommendation to newer streamers who thought about going through that path, I would say try to schedule a day for it instead of making that your full form of content, because as soon as you do, it's going to consume you. Because the numbers are addicting. The numbers of community games and things like that are addicting, but they're not forever. They're very temporary. They're literally that day temporary level. Try to create an event where you can enjoy time with your community, but don't make that your primary goal and obsession, because as much as it is lucrative for numbers, it's also as little lucrative for your own mental capacity to do this career.
Right, and if you like it, that's whatever. I've known some people that all they did was Fortnite customs every day. I personally do not have the mental capacity to deal with all those people.
No, I'd go crazy.
Play that time of game every day, I'll go crazy. But if you can do it, go ahead and do it. I know a person that went from averaging 15, 20 viewers to 100 within like 3 weeks just from doing that stuff.
Yeah.
But the expense of, like, I looked at his stream, I'm like, this content's boring.
Yeah.
That's just me.
That's because people don't come there to watch; they come there to join.
Yeah, people, they'll go there and they'll go in for the queue, and then they'll be next up.
It's a line, yeah.
It depends who you want to be with that. It depends.
Absolutely. Well, Oversoul, we're approaching the 2-hour mark, and I think that we have absolutely hammered every single piece of content that we could in this podcast. I want to thank you so much, not only for your attendance, but your willing commitment to see this through with me to the end for my first day. You've been not only amazing, but I've also had the repeating bot going on in chat promoting you out. But right now, is there anything that you want to push out specifically for both YouTube, whoever's here in chat right now, and anything else?
Well, I do have one thing other than pushing on my social media, unless we're talking about advice. If you are a Twitch streamer and you are getting donations, bits, subs, whatever, try to make something, even like just a little bit of something where you can, like, if they get a sub, you get a donation, a bit or something, you give something like back to them for free. I mean, like, for me, it's easy.
That's huge.
I got dogs, so whenever, it's like, so it's incentivized. It's not just like, oh, I throw a sub at you and they're like, oh, dude, thanks, I really appreciate it, and then that's it. It doesn't, at least for me,
incentive is huge.
If I don't do anything, it's all about the incentive, and that might seem scummy, but it's just the way human behavior works.
Sales training number 1 is literally, if you do not ask for it, you will not get it. That's the hard. It's like the sad truth, but that's it. Go ahead though.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, it's like, for me, if you do anything on my channel when it comes to supporting me, I give my dogs some treats. And like, that's, like, who doesn't want to see a puppy get treats? And for any of my like long-term supporters, like, I mail them out merch because I can at my own expense. But it doesn't have to extend to that. Like, if you can't afford it, of course, you don't have to push it that much. But you just give something. I don't know. What are some things you could recommend that are free, Flex, that would be, I don't know, a drawing, art, if you're artistic?
I see this all the time. People have a poster board behind them where they write down names. That's an easy incentive. You could have a notepad where you write things down. For me, I do the 5 push-ups per follow, 5 push-ups per sub, 5 push-ups per gifted. Any incentive that you can do to make sure that when somebody comes in, they know that them clicking that button is transactional, because it is. Just because you click that button doesn't mean that you just click it and nothing happens. It should be transactional, because that's huge for your content. And that's a good thing that we didn't talk about at all in this.
Yeah, I wanted to touch up on that. But other than that, I am Oversoul. You guys can find me Oversoul on Twitch. I am Oversoul X on every other platform. That's Oversoul X on Instagram.
That did give me 10 minutes of grief earlier. I wrote up the command and it was linking to some Oversoul on Twitter and TikTok that was not you at all. I was like, oh, this is awkward, so I had to fix that. Oversoul X on everything. But yes, you guys can find him at twitch.tv/Oversoul, twitter.com/OversoulX, tiktok.com/@OversoulX. The command will still be in my chat this week until we have the next guest. But Oversoul, thank you so much. And I'm going to take probably a 10-minute break here after I end this. Let the clip solidify, run to the bathroom, do everything. But do you want to play some Valorant still? Are you still in for that?
Of course, yeah.
Alrighty.
It's a fun time being here.
Dude, so I enjoy this, man. I want you back. I really want you back. Next time will not be all just everything interview and everything else. It'll be like just kind of a grab bag of everything from the start. So.
Yeah. We can talk about some real world shit.
Well, we'll do that actually once we get to Valorant too, to be honest. Once we get to there, we'll be vibing. I still got 3 more beers sitting in front of me. The 8.2 IPAs, man. We're going to have a good night. So.
Yeah, same.
So he's going to start streaming again. You guys can go over there. I'm sure you're going to start probably while I'm in my break of clipping things. And again, it'll be 10, 15 minutes. As soon as I'm back, though, I'll be back in Discord. I'll probably either jump in yours or vice versa, whatever. And I'll go from there. But I wanted to thank everybody in chat who came during this time. Everyone in YouTube is going to be watching this there. Thank you so much for sticking through the whole thing. There's many more to come. We're going to be trying to do one of these once a week. Not every time will it be drinking. Obviously, this time was a bit casual because it's my first time and I wanted to have a different spin to it, but I think we really got to the ground of a lot of good pieces of information people need. I also want to thank everybody for just giving so many great questions and really putting their own invested interest in everything. As far as any sponsors, we don't have any, but I do want to mention my Twitch as a sponsor, twitch.tv/FlexChatmanTV as the primary source of this content. It's going to be happening every single week, so you guys can come back here for this and everything else. Thank you guys for enjoying this, and we will see you guys next week, Thursday. We don't have a guest planned, but send some recommendations to the Discord. We'll be getting another one planned, and we'll go from there. I'll catch you guys then. See ya. Oversoul, thank you.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Bye now, guys.
Bye.
We gotta smile for a bit, and then end it. I think you gotta smile. I'm doing a smile.